Good day, all my friends. Sorry, I had to take a drink of coffee. Welcome to Sunday's function chat. I got photo bombers in the background. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and bring everybody up. We're going to go ahead and go with Ginger and Joey at Not For Nothing Homestead. Thank you for coming in.
There's Joey.
Michelle.
Hello.
I'm assuming it's just Michelle based on the info I got earlier. So
yes, sir.
Big Valley Living. And then we have Two Doctors Homestead with us as well.
Hey.
And we have a surprise guest with us tonight.
Ooh.
An unexpected guest. Hello. Blue's joining us.
Blue.
Hey.
Hello.
Yay.
Hi, Blue.
So how's everybody doing today?
Up, doing good.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I'm
Good.
a little cold.
I'm assuming Michelle. Oh, sorry. Cold?
I just said I'm a little cold. Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Michelle, I'm assuming you're a little glitchy, but we can see you and you're moving. So
okay.
Just,
me or Ginger?
Ginger.
Okay.
Yeah. Michelle, I'm assuming you're doing okay now?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Rocking and rolling.
Okay. Blue, thank you for that's good. Blue, thank you for being able to join us. We appreciate it. And Daniel and Janet, I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us on your show, sir.
As always, you are always welcome on this show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You make this show, Daniel.
Am I a little glitchy?
No.
That's the question at hand.
No. No, you're coming through great.
Okay. I'm getting a lot of lag from everybody, so I just want to make sure it's not on my end. Sorry. So I want to welcome everybody that's sitting in chat. We got quite a few people. We got Blue Self-Reliance is joining us in chat. Welcome. We got Feather Friends Homestead. Hello. Butler Family Farm. Thank you for coming in. Kettle Kitchen. That shady scoundrel's in the house. Lori Hyman, thank you for coming in. Deb R, thank you for coming in. Tanya, welcome. Teresa's joined us. Suburban Hillbilly. Two Doctors Homesteads joining us. Thank you for coming in. Joey, the ever faithful Joey is with us. Thank you. And he said hi to Rhonda. I didn't see Rhonda's name. Did I miss her somewhere?
My mistake. I was typing too fast.
Oh, there you
Okay, I just want to make sure. I was like, I didn't see her name anywhere.
I'm sorry, boss.
So what we're doing today, and what the plan was, and trying to follow a plan, was we were going to talk about how to help people make it easy for them to start a pantry. There's a couple things that I threw in the description box. There's a spreadsheet in there, which we'll talk about these things individually. I also put in 2 or 3 other resources out there so that if you don't like what we put out there, then there's another option. You can always manipulate those things. The spreadsheet that I put up there is intended to be manipulated because it's a copy, so you won't be messing mine up per se. So go for it. I would recommend saving it to your computer, saving it as a different name, and then that way you can do what you want and you're not interrupting any process. So aside from that, I would like to go ahead and start with this image. It's a slideshow. And this is how I look at
It's like being back in college.
what is a pantry. Sorry.
It's exciting. I like college.
Well, hopefully it works out and everybody gets the gist of it. So basically, obviously, all of us have a refrigerator. That would be your first point of entry into your pantry because you got to have it stocked. It's got to stay stocked with, things that are perishable and whatnot. Moving on from that, then I also think it's important your freezer's part of your pantry too, because it's an ongoing process that you have to maintain for your food storage. Okay. Then we have the cupboards, and spelling and all that. Sorry, criticize me. I know cupboards is one word, but that's the way it came out. So that's what
You're
we're
not
going
writing
with.
a dissertation, Tony.
I like
It's okay.
cupboards. Cupboards are way better.
I like cupboards too. That
I
is
like
just
Right.
cupboards.
it
It's
for
got
me.
flair.
All right.
Yes, thank you. I don't know about the flair part, but I'll go with it.
Personality.
Personality. There
Here,
you
I
go.
got cups. I got cups for your boards.
There
Well,
you
thank
go.
you. I
Well.
appreciate that. So then you have a pantry room. And what I mean by a pantry room is most of us, not everybody, but most of us have a set designated area where we put our canned items or our dry goods or whatever it is. So while the whole thing is inclusive of a pantry, you do have a designated area that's specific. Some people don't, and I get that. And that's fine. Everybody utilizes the space they have available. So if you're using under your beds as your pantry, it's still your pantry. It's whatever you're utilizing. Okay. You have a dehydrator. The dehydrator becomes an important part of the can or of the food storage system. Okay. As well as a freeze dryer if you have one. If you don't have one, doesn't apply to you, but there's other things that you can put in its place. A vacuum sealer, food fresh sealer, whatever you want to call it, still is part of your pantry process.
Now, vacuum's a
Then-
tough word to spell.
It
I got
is.
that one.
You got that one? I
I
misspelled
thought I
all the time.
misspelled it actually because I thought it was
Two
VACCUUM.
No,
Yeah.
you
You
got
did
it
a good
right.
job.
So
Yeah.
That's
Just
the
don't put
hardest
an E
word
at the
here
end.
today.
That's pro skills.
it
Yeah.
is. It is.
Don't put an
and
E
then
at
you
the
have,
end.
huh?
Don't put an E at the end. Vacuum.
I tried to, and it
See?
didn't look right. So
I think
pulled
instead of
it off and
pantry, say pant tree, and then it'll go with the boards.
Is that where you
That's a
keep your
lot.
pants?
That's a lot of flair.
no, that's my pant try, not pant.
And try.
Okay, then rounding up the whole system is your long-term storage if you have that. That would be inclusive of your buckets with gamma lids if you use them, or whatever system you use for long-term storage if you delve into that. Okay. These are what I would consider the 8 sections of a pantry, inclusively making one's pantry the best system you can have for food storage. Okay. Would anybody disagree or like to add to that?
No, I think it's good.
Yep,
Yeah.
looks good to me.
Yeah.
Hey, and if it's cold where you are and you run out of refrigerator space, you can always use the trunk of your car or the back of your car.
Yeah.
We did that last week because we had to. We ran out of space while we were preparing. So
Yeah, when I lived in Chicago,
Yes.
I put my turkey on my deck every year after I bought it because I didn't have freezer space for my
Yeah.
And it
turkey.
didn't matter. It was
And
colder
not
I've
outside.
been there,
coolers.
done that. What was that, Ginger?
I said a turkey takes up a lot of space.
yep,
So
It
I don't
does.
blame you.
Yes.
yep. We use our coolers
Yeah.
for thawing them out if it's cool enough. I mean,
Yeah.
it works,
Mhm.
right? As long as
Yeah.
it's safe.
Yeah.
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 Usually during
guess
the
if you're-
holiday season, our outside space does become the secondary refrigerator / freezer, depending on how cold it is. So
Mhm.
we utilize it. I mean, might as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're real
Um,
fancy with
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no,
Did we lose them?
Oh no.
it's a good look though. I think we should do a screenshot.
I like the look. I do.
I mean, they could
wanna do the
totally
screen-
use that
there
for a
they are.
thumbnail.
They're back with
There
us.
they go.
Whoa, sorry about that.
It was a good screenshot.
okay.
Were we like picking our nose
We
or
were.
something?
No, you
Yeah.
actually. It was one of the better pictures of a frozen shot that you guys.
Yeah, it was really good.
Freeze
I was
frame.
talking about a root cellar. If you're handy with a shovel, you could do a root
Freeze
cellar.
And you don't
Yes,
live in hard
yes.
pan.
Well, that too. Yes. The other thing that goes along with it, though, is that, and Lori Hyman does make a valid point. If you're using a dehydrator, you should have a canner on there also. The canner actually, for me specifically, would be replacing the freeze dryer because I don't use a freeze dryer. I don't have any intention of getting one. My point is this is a basic. You can intermingle or manipulate your way of doing it the way you need to. This is just an idea. So canning equipment, if you are into canning, is something that should be part of your pantry system as well. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in this before we move into the other stuff is if you don't, and I'm kind of going backwards a little bit when I said, some people use like their storage they'll use under their bed, so they'll use a linen closet. Sorry. Or they'll use a linen closet. Whatever space you have available, make it work for you. You don't have to go out and knock out a wall and take out a bedroom and remodel your whole house to get it to work. Now, in some instances, and I'm sure Blue can attest to this, if you're in very tight spaces, you just make it work the best way you can. Yeah. So what we're throwing out there isn't necessarily going to work for every individual person that's watching this live or that goes out on YouTube. Don't look at it like that. I'm not intentionally trying to say you need to go buy $5,000 worth of food. You need to go spend $10,000 to build a pantry. You need to do this. You need to do that. Do what works for you because it's your pantry. If that's the way it works, then that's the way it works. The ultimate goal is to start to get food set aside so that regardless of how long a situation is, a week, a month, 3 months, 6 months, you should theoretically be able to lessen the impact you're going to have of not having those items available. Okay. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, the next thing I want to bring up, because I'm already getting questions about it, is I want to bring up the spreadsheet that I did. Now, this is just my version of it. Ginger helped me on it. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Not a problem.
And
glad to be of service.
You were of great service. Thank you.
I'm gonna make
a
spreadsheet. The Tony at a ghetto kitchen.
Oh, Lord, that was hilarious. I would hear myself.
Jan was cracking up on
I
that
couldn't
video.
stop laughing.
She was
I mean,
cracking
I'm
up.
like, she
reveal
sounds
that
like
you
my
couldn't
great-grandma Lita
refuse?
there. I mean, I had my great grandmother. She talked like that. She spoke in broken Italian. So it was funny. And with the little head moving too, she did that too because she got her hair done. So you didn't want to mess up your hair.
Yep.
It was funny.
Yep.
It was great. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So basically, what I did with this spreadsheet was basically I tried to put it in categories of what I thought would be effect. Hold on, just a second, guys. I gotta take this.
You are so popular.
Yeah,
he is a very popular guy.
When you're a producer, they're always
when you're high rolling like Tony.
We're always constantly bugging him. Hey, can you help me? Hey, can you help me? Hey, can you help me?
Right.
Well, I am. I don't know if anybody else is, but I bug him a lot. So
he's gonna get an earful from me this week.
Are you talking to me?
Uh-oh. Yeah.
No, you're supposed to say you're talking to me.
Are you talking to me?
Was you talking to me when I was talking to you when you was listening to me? Yeah, I was.
We have a little theme today, Tony. We're gonna be gangsta.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Tony.
Oh.
How popular
you better watch out. You better watch out. You don't want to end up with, a horse head in your bed. So
I know.
She knows people.
Who know people.
Yeah,
who don't know you.
I like it best when they don't know me. Anyway, moving on.
There's a question
So
in
basically
here.
what this is.
Oh, there's a question?
Okay, the question's got to wait just a second because I want to try to explain this real quick.
Okay.
We'll come back to the question in just a minute. Basically, I had listed up their pantry inventory list A. That's so that you could change it. If you had different locations you wanted to and be included in this, you could just add another sheet, call it what you want. So you have your canned goods, you have your dry goods, pasta, rice, beans, baking goods, miscellaneous food items, cereals, crackers, snacks. You have fruit, which is inclusive theoretically of fresh fruit, baking items, meats, vegetables, condiments, spices, fish, drinks and beverages, refrigerator items, which actually should say baby items.
I was gonna say, because I don't normally do the diapers in the refrigerator, but you
I
might be
do.
onto something.
I do. I find that it's very helpful,
Well,
Daniel. I think you should give it a shot.
I'll give it a shot. All right. That depends, though.
Hey, Daniel,
You
your house, your rules.
Depends.
know. That depends.
If they had chili.
As long as we're
For
all
the chili
poised for
cook-off,
the
we'll need
important
it.
parts, right?
Right.
Yes, yeah. Hey, Renee, Pike Creek
All right.
Farms.
So you have refrigerator items, you have medical / personal supplies, which would be inclusive of your hygiene as well, freezer items, miscellaneous non-food, pet items, paper items, and cleaning supplies. Okay. So the question is basically on this form, it's already set up, and I'm looking right here. Can you guys see that highlighted? It's under couscous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So par is, what is it that I want it set at? How many of these items are going to fill my shelf to make me happy? In this case, for example, let's say I want 11 packages of couscous on my shelf. Okay. The next one I'm marking, I have 6 on hand. That means that I need to buy 5 more to replace my par, if that makes any sense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Location is, all that is where do I have it? Do I have it in the freezer? Do I have it in the refrigerator? Do I have it in the cupboard? Whichever part of that pantry system you're using. Okay. This can be, so it's all set up so everything will tally over for you. All you have to do is put in the par item and the on hand. It will automatically add or subtract those for you so you can keep a running total of it. Okay. This is a very basic item, but if you do look at it as what the plus minus column will give you, that should theoretically give you a grocery list to then move forward to when you go to the store to see what items you need to replace that pantry. Think of it as food out, food has to come back in to put you back at par. Par is normal, status quo, everything's where it should be. Okay.
And it also helps
All right.
you when you're looking over the sale flyers to see what's on sale.
Yes.
You can just go right to this list and see, oh, something's buy one, get one free. And I need 4 of those.
Right.
Perfect. I'll go
Yes.
get those 4.
Yep,
So
that's what it's intended to do. So now that the questions have flown out there, what questions are we seeing? Because I don't want to have to go through and try to read all of the questions.
You just answered it when you explained what par was. Lori was asking what par meant, so
Okay,
you
all
did
right.
that very nicely. Thank you.
Yes. So the other thing, Renee brings up a good point that you can throw into that pantry setup process. If you ferment, that's another thing you can interchange with something you may not do or add it. I mean, if you have 9 or you have 12 of them, it doesn't really matter. It's what you want to set up your system as. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What this will help you do is this will help you keep an on, as long as you're at least once a month going back and replenishing these things, it'll keep you on an ongoing rotating storage pantry system. Remember, the old moves forward and the new goes in behind. That is one of the biggest tips I can give anybody, because there's a tendency when you bring in new items, you just push them where they go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Instead of doing that, get in the rotation of whether you number them, you letter them, you put down expiration or best buy dates, whatever you go by. Get in a routine of doing that so you know what is what and when it is. So when I have stuff on the shelf, what I do is I do a number system, 1, 2, 3 on through 12, whatever the number is. Then when I bring in a new set of items, then I'll change to letters. Then I go A, B, C, D, E, so that I know that's from a different purchase time. Okay. Then when those move out, then I'll go back to the number system. It's just an ever evolving process for me. That way I know when I purchase the items, they theoretically should be about the same dates, because I always check my dates when I'm putting them on the shelf anyway. So again, that's me. That's what I do. What do you guys say? What do you guys think?
I like it. I think that's great.
I like that.
Yes, I love it.
Blue?
And the thing I like about it too is that you can move it. So you could move it, like intentionally move
Yes.
2 sections to another page print that one section off and tape it to the inside of the cabinet. That
Oh, we lost Ginger.
Uh-oh.
She's not going to be
Accelerated
happy
quickly.
when she comes back.
She'll be back.
Yes, she'll be back. One way or another, she'll be back. But what I will jump in here, Lori. Oh, there she is. Give me just a second. Hi,
think-
Ginger. Welcome.
Oh, thanks. I think it's the weather. Because we're having
You're
some
fine.
bad weather right now. We've had rain all day. But what I was saying, hopefully you got the gist of it. Then when you open the door, you take it out, you can mark it off right then.
Right.
And then
One
you
thing
can
I do
later go
agree-
and update your computer.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to. It's whatever you're comfortable with. If you like doing the old paper style, do the paper style. But then you can go to the computer and it's already got it set up so it does it for you. You just got to input the numbers and it'll tell you what you need.
Yeah.
If you want to use it, do what you want to. It's just a tool to help you out. The other items other than the QRbot, which Daniel will talk about, those things were there, and I think his is as well. It's there to help you if it's something you want to use. If it makes it a little easier, then by all means use it. That's what it's intended for. One thing I will agree with what Lori said, and she said, make tabs at the bottom for each quarter, month, so you can see how much you use throughout the year. The valid point about that is that that's the way it's set up. Just copy the sheet, name it for a month, and move it over, and then tab it another one. You could do that out 12 months. Then when January comes around, you can go back. And if anybody needs help, and I'm sure Daniel probably knows how to do this as well. If somebody else does as well, they could help. Just ask us. I can set you up so that it will tally that for you at the end of the year to tell you how many items of each thing you've used. Ultimately, that's what you're trying to get to, is so you know for the next year or the next 3 months or the next month, depending on how you shop or preserve, you're able to know what you're going through and what you're purchasing. That's the point behind it. Okay.
Hey, Dawn Ray. She just came in.
Hello. I did see Renee. I didn't get to say hi to. Hello, Renee. And somebody else came in here, but I didn't see who it was. Mine's way gone now. I have to go way back. Hello to everybody in chat. I'll just do it that way.
And I think, Tony, this would be definitely helpful for, like Dawn Ray said, she has stuff in various places throughout her house. So your location tab on the spreadsheet will definitely help her as to, where to go and grab what she needs. That way she can remember.
Right.
And we're the same way. We got stuff under bed storage. We've got stuff in cabinets. We've got stuff in uppers, and that way it helps you figure out where you put something.
Right. Junkin Chef, thank you for coming in. Janet Homestead, where you are, thank you for coming in. The other thing that goes along with that too, and real quick, I want to throw this out. If something happens to those persons that are responsible for the upkeep of inventory, if you have the location part in there, then it makes it easier for others to step in and say, okay, Mom's got hamburger in the freezer. Now I know that there's some there. It should be there. How many do I have? Okay, now I can make Dad dinner for a week. Kind of thought process.
Mm-hmm.
It helps, So yes, Blue.
I always found it useful to have two sets of those. One that was your main set and one that was location stuck. So
okay,
if you use something, you mark it on the one that's in the location where it's meant to be, so that you just mark off. So you can actually start making your shopping list from that, because you know that you're one less or five less or whatever as you go to each one.
Yep, I think that's a good idea. And I think that's kind of what Ginger was saying with the cupboards. If you put that paper up there, then you got a quick access to what you've used and what you need. Like you said, if you're talking the freezer, set it next to the freezer on the wall or attached to it on the side or something. It just depends on how you individually and respectfully do your pantry. That's what's going to make a difference. Okay, Ginger, go ahead. Ginger's switching over to a different device, so we may lose what's there. So, does anybody have anything to add or think that it should be different or anything like that?
No, I think that's a great system, Tony. Absolutely. I mean, I know we've got different pantry areas set up, and yeah, sometimes we'll move stuff to different areas and try to get organized.
Right.
We just did a big clean out in one of our cabinets, finding stuff you forgot about and saying, hey, this is almost expired, so let's move that forward. So I'm totally guilty of just getting the new stuff and jamming it in front, and then by the time you've gotten to the back, you're like, oops, that was a waste, you know, or hey, this is about to expire, so we need to catch that. So
and no matter how well you rotate your food, and my husband JJ is really, really good about rotating the pantry, especially the dry goods and the condiments, canned goods, as well as our own home canned foods. But sometimes you lose sight of it. You know, we got a good deal on mayonnaise probably a year and a half ago. And despite all of our rotating and everything else, and you've all seen the price of mayonnaise lately, we burned a couple of them, and there's a certain point where I'm not comfortable using it. I think right now I'm comfortable, but a couple more months and I'm going to be like, nah, we're going to have to cut our losses and run, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Get yourself, when you get your chickens,
again,
you
that
make your own
also-
mayonnaise.
You know I'm going to do that too.
Well,
and I'm
there
looking
you go.
February.
There you go.
February's coming, baby. February's coming.
Exciting.
The other thing is, and I know I have a video on a lot of condiments. If you ever find a video from me on how to make mustard, don't follow it. Stay away from it. I think I took it down, but I'm just saying, do not do it. Aside from that, if you want any of your taste buds to remain, do not make Tony's homemade mustard. Okay, that's what
You know, we've tried 2 recipes and we have not found success yet.
No, it's overly hot, and I'm trying to figure out how to mellow that down a lot. But anyways, what I was trying to say though is that I also found, and yellow is a good point too.
Less yellow will
less yellow,
the heat down. Yeah.
Me and you need to have a chit chat, sister.
Apparently so.
Apparently so. But what I was going to say is one thing, if I didn't go through as much mayonnaise as we do, because we make salads and things all the time, I would be making my mayonnaise as I went. That's the honest truth. It's easy. I can do it. Theoretically, most houses can go through it in the amount of time that it's good for. Why not? If you can do it, do it.
Yeah.
So one other thing I was going to throw in, and it kind of tied into what Michelle said. If you set par on that sheet that I put out there as a normal guideline, theoretically, you won't run into the problem like she did, and I understand why she did, and I'm not criticizing them for it, but it will help you. If you are only going through 2 jars of mayonnaise, don't buy 3, 4, and 5. That's not doing you any good. You're actually wasting money, because you'll find yourself in the position they were, where you have 2 or 3 bottles that you're not going to be able to use, and then you've spent the money on it. So,
or if you change your diet, what we did was we had changed to a more keto-based diet, and mayonnaise really doesn't. Prepared mayonnaise does not fit into that. I bought keto mayonnaise and quit using that mayonnaise, and so that played into it as well. So I'm like, oh my goodness, and now I don't use either one, because I find that I really don't need them in my life. So
we're doing the same thing. We're leaning towards keto, and all of a sudden we're looking at like, wow, that's a lot of food we can't eat anymore. So
I mean, like, even if you have ketchup or anything, you know, all of those things with sugar in them as a preservative, you're going to find that your diet and your purchasing habits are going to radically change.
Right. Ginger, what were you going to say?
Last year I was recommended a book. I wanted to lose a little bit of weight and wanted to start eating a little healthier. And my soon-to-be daughter-in-law this year recommended a book. It was called Whole 30. I don't know if any of y'all have ever heard of it. It is. Do you like that book, Blue? I love
It's not bad.
that book. It is full of tabs, and they have 2 mayonnaises in there that I love. One is just a regular mayonnaise, and the other one is an avocado mayonnaise. Oh my gosh, is that stuff good? Wow. It's amazing.
But again, I mean, here's where we're at. I mean, we're learning this information from each other, which again, going back to what I really want to push my channel out for, is we're here as resources for each other. Let's utilize it. Why waste the information that we all have and we can help each other with? So I'll get off my box now. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's a good box to be on. I mean, we're here.
Yes.
You know, we're happy to help anybody out.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good box.
Right. So
And the form,
what I do want to
where are
jump
they
in,
going to find that form?
that form is located down in the description box. So you are more than welcome to use that, save it. Like I said earlier, put it under a different name. That way you have the original if you ever need it. And it's a copy, so you're not doing anything to my personal inventory sheet. It's separate. Though all those things can be changed. If you don't use baby products, and it's free, I'm not charging you anything for it. Use it. If you don't use baby products, but you use something else that's not on that list, switch that list out with that. If you don't use luncheon meat or Spam, then don't put it in there, but put something else in its place. Utilize it the way that you're comfortable with it and what makes sense to what your family eats. That's the point. So, what I do want to do is I want to make sure that we have time to talk about Daniel's app that he wanted to show everybody. So do you want me to go ahead and bring that slide?
Yeah,
up,
absolutely.
Daniel,
I know we were trying to do some screenshots because I don't think it would work to like hold the thing up to the camera. So that's the icon that I found. This was on the iPhone. It may be available for the Droid as well. If you search the app store, it's just QRbot. So this is the free version of the app. There is a paid version. So if you like it and you're playing with it and you're like, hey, I want some more features, there is a paid version of it available. Okay. So that's the first thing you're going to see on your phone is the app. So you click on that. And this is a scanner. So as soon as you open the app, you can see it's got the ads on the bottom. If you pay for it, you don't have to worry about the ads. But it opens up to a barcode scanner. So that was in my garage. We got a stack of egg cartons there. So I went ahead and just scanned the egg carton. So if you want to go to the next slide. So at the top, it shows the barcode. So that's what it scanned. And then search options, it hits all these things and it tries to find it. So hey, this is a MT Products printed natural pulp paper egg carton. So it found it. It found the egg carton. So you could check the stores. If you want to buy more, you could say who's got it. So this one you can go to eBay and it has the barcode. So once you have the item scanned, if you go to the next slide, you can actually type in your own information. So you can give it a name. You can give a quantity. Hey, I've got 25 of these, right? And the name is egg carton. And then you can save it. So you hit save.
So just real quick in there, Daniel, if I wanted to name this, say, Great Value Eggs or Great Value 5 dozen or something like that, I could manipulate that as well in the title.
Yeah, the name I typed in the name. Okay. So yeah, you could manipulate the name and the quantity as you go.
Okay.
So then we go save. So this history shows the things I scanned when I was messing around with the app. So I've got my beer, I've got some different things. I was just playing.
This guy's got priorities. I just want everybody to know.
Right. First thing I scanned was the beer, and I typed in beer on that. So you can kind of go around scanning things and it saves the history. So that could be your inventory right there if you wanted to, but then it has the export, right? So you were looking at Excel, which you could export to a CSV and import that into Excel if you wanted, or text file or whatnot. Now, if you have, I think the paid version, it gives you some more power around maintaining that inventory, right? But I mean, it just as a free app, if you want to play, garage inventory or pantry inventory, you can sit there and start scanning all your barcodes and just doing it real quick right there. And it was kind of fun, kind of cool. Be like, ooh, let me scan the barcode. Hey, it found it. That's what this is. And it saves it. So it might make it a little more fun.
If you're in there and say the scanner didn't pick up the item, do you have the ability to manually put the information in as to what the barcode is? Just type it in then. Okay.
Yeah, you could just type it in.
So this will give you an ability to know what you, on this history, if you were to put your stuff in there, you should be able to go through and keep an inventory on what's in your pantry, freezer, refrigerator, cupboards, all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. By the barcodes. So then, you could at the store and you could search for it right there. So, I mean, it's just another way, right? Is it the best way? I don't know. Do what works for you. If you like the idea of scanning barcodes on everything, this is the way to go. If you don't like the idea, like, dude, I don't want to sit here and have to scan every barcode on every canned good I have. I could get people not liking that. Don't do it. There's other ways to do it, Tony.
And if you preserve your own food, it might make it kind of difficult, right?
Wouldn't have barcodes anyway.
It would be a little bit of a moot point sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
But if you've got condiments and you have backup canned goods and backup pastas that you can forget about, I can see a value to having that off to the side and then adding that, maybe taking that somehow and making, marrying it to Tony's spreadsheet. I can see that totally working.
Yeah.
It could also work
sorry.
It could also work with
go ahead.
It shows on that app, it actually shows different places where that barcode is found. So you can actually use it to find the item again for ordering later on for the best price, because you can go to each place and have a look
and just see it right there. Yep, absolutely. That was kind of a neat because it does a search, right? So
So ultimately, you could theoretically be saving money by using that app because it should give you where the cheapest priced. I mean, allowing you are able to shop at that place in your area, you should be able to get the cheapest price. So that's good.
Yeah.
Great to know. Hello, Jamie's Country Living and Cindy Brown. Thank you for coming in.
No,
so in what Michelle was saying, as far as marrying things, one of the other things you'll see down in the description box, there is a spot for, I can't see it right now, but it's a 3-month planner that will take you basically the theoretical idea of what I've put out there, but they've got it to where you can plan your meals based on the items you're using, if that makes any sense. So it takes what I have and goes very much in depth more on a 3-month plan. So it might be something to look at. Again, all this information we're putting out there are just suggestions, helping items, recommendations. You guys use it if you want to or don't. Nobody's no harm, no foul one way or the other. We're just trying to give you tools to use to set up a pantry. Now that we've started the year, it's a perfect time to do it. So, and then if you follow us on Fridays, we have our pantry challenge, our $5 a week pantry challenge that we all talked about, and we will get back into that. So taking the two things and trying to fit them in together is what we're ultimately doing to try to help you guys have suggestions and thoughts towards how do I build up my own pantry, or how do I start a pantry, or mine's so cluttered I got to reorganize it, whatever it may be. So what do you guys say? Anything?
I agree with that. And then I'm very visual. So I actually purchased something to see what it was all about. So I'm gonna play with it. I'm gonna see how it works. But I'm gonna be printing things probably on a monthly basis, and I'm gonna be updating those, then taking it over to the computer. And we have several computers, so we'll put it onto the network so that we can get it from anywhere. But I want to make sure that we do keep up on it, because we rotate food. We know what we have. It's only the two of us, but you can lose sight of things. And I also want to monitor our purchasing and our eating habits, because as we get older, we actually aren't eating as much. So we don't have to stock up as much as we used to. And it breaks my heart to throw food away. And if I don't catch it on time to offer it to a family member or a neighbor or somebody in need, it really, really bothers me. So,
Oh yeah. If I have to throw away something that's outdated, that's far beyond my comfort zone,
yeah,
I get so upset with myself. I'm like, I just might as well open my wallet and
throw
a couple dollars in the
$5 out,
trash.
right?
Right, just burn
That's
it
how
all.
I feel. That is exactly how I
You know,
feel.
Michelle, when you get those chickens, there's a lot of things that chickens can eat that are expired.
Yeah.
I've had chickens before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So you know, when your
oh boy, let me
yogurts,
tell you,
exactly.
Oh yeah, give them their little parfaits and let them have a party.
Right. If your yogurt's
Yeah.
a week past or whatever, the chickens will they'll
Right.
hit that like white on rice.
Well, and it gives us more nutrients in our food.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very much, and they can help me clean my garden as well.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm super
Mhm,
excited.
I do want
to
to
have them
say,
again.
I want to say hi to Nina from Nina or Boyce or the both of them from Run the Over Garden Life. Thank you for coming in. Food by Faith, Garden to Table. Thank you for stopping by. We appreciate it. And oh, look who finally decided to hop in and see us. 9 Acre Family Farm.
Hey.
9 Acre Family Farm. Hey.
I think, you know, the other thing that goes with it, because I don't want in chat, they're here. Yeah. I don't want people to misunderstand. And I'm going to give you an example of one of my faults in the pantry. Okay. Number one, keeping it kept because it's in a small unused room right now. It's also the collection place for when we got to put stuff away and, put it in the pantry. We'll get to it later. Put it in the pantry. We'll get to it later. Well, now I'm having a struggle getting around in the pantry. So upkeep of that room is important, as well as I'll be honest with you guys. We got to a point where our pantry was full. We had it stocked all the time. And then we ran into some issues, and I said, well, that's fine. We'll just catch up on it next time. When we went to catch up on it next time, it was like starting all over because we had let it go so far. So if you don't stay on that routine, hitting back to what everybody has mentioned, you got to stay on it on a constant basis and make sure you're replenishing what you're taking out. You got to make sure the rotation is done. You got to make sure that you're utilizing what you're putting in there. Otherwise, it's going to become wasted food. It's not, you can't do it one time and expect it to take care of itself, because it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's the biggest
like
thing I'm trying to get.
My suggestion is, you know, I've said before, I was raised in a big family and we had no money. I mean, that's just the reality of my childhood.
Right.
So you went through the food that you had in your house. And if my mom ever found something that was about to go bad, like a vegetable that was about to go bad, she did not throw it away. It might not have been on the menu, but she cooked it and she put it in the freezer and she used it later.
Right.
So, I mean, if something is about to expire, if you're a canner, just cook it or don't cook it, raw pack, do whatever you have to do. Either can it to make it shelf stable, or if it's a box of rice-a-roni, cook it and freeze it, and you can come back to it later.
Yeah.
Right. I am not typically a proponent of recanning something just to can it. But if it's gonna, I am personally here, just my own opinion. If it's gonna buy you more time for that product and it's something you legitimately could do safely, then by all means do it. It's giving you a little more time. You know, when things are getting ready to go bad, throw them in the freezer. It almost stops the time, so long as it doesn't become freezer burnt. You know,
or change your meal plan. Change your meal plan.
That's another.
You're allowed to do that, and come up with a new idea. We've done that before. You know, we played that little basket game and say, that doesn't really go together. And sometimes we've come up with some pretty darn cool recipes. So
yeah, I mean, when you don't have enough money to feed yourself or your family, you can get very creative.
That's right.
Nothing becomes waste at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, I wanted to throw out.
So first I want.
No, go ahead, Tony.
Go ahead.
I was going to say something I wanted to throw out was food banks, right? They will. Historically, food banks wouldn't take things that are expired, but I've heard that some are kind of bending on that right now just because of the way the economy is. So you could call and check, depending on how expired it is, your food bank might take it. So
And
it's
I
something
think that
to
there's
think
a
about.
movement now, and people
Yes.
are calling dates into question.
Yeah.
Best Buy does not mean no good.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
And yes, you can the quality may degrade a little bit. Some things you would definitely want to be careful about, but other things, all right, so the noodles might not be as pliable when you cook them up, but they're still going to be edible, and they're not going to be bad for you if they're a couple months out of date. And the little cheese powder probably would last for 1,000 years if you really wanted to come down to it.
Yeah, some last a long
Probably
time.
beyond my lifetime. The cheese powder will still be here. I'll be long gone, but the cheese powder will still be good.
Yes.
Cheese powder and Twinkies will still be on the shelf from 20
Twinkies.
years earlier. Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
There's also apps for people who have got leftover food that want to share it. There's actually a movement of that over here in the UK. I don't know if you guys have got it over there. There's actually a couple of apps over here that do that. And also look for like Facebook groups in your area that do food swaps and stuff, or that might actually have stuff where, I've got leftover food, or I've got, this going. If anyone wants it, they can come and collect it, kind of thing. Because that's always a good way of doing it as well, if local food banks won't take it. Because I actually work really closely with the food banks over here, and I can tell you that if it is out of date, they will not take it.
Yeah.
They won't take it, even if it's a best before.
Right.
But some of them do have a box of help yourself at your own risk.
Oh.
And
There you
that's
go.
becoming more of a thing from what I've heard. Yeah.
Right. Or you know what, check with if you have a church community, check with your church community. If you don't have a faith community, check with the ones in your area. There's probably always somebody in need. I know that it's this person's night to bring supper, and you might be able to whip something up with all that stuff that's not going to be good and help a family in need. So
There's Rhonda Towery.
Right.
Joey, now you can say hi to her.
Now Rhonda's in the room.
Rhonda, he thought you were here earlier, and he was saying hi.
What were you going to say earlier, Ginger? Sorry.
I can't remember now. Sorry. I'm getting older, Tony, and it just flies out. I don't know. It wasn't important, or somebody else probably covered it.
Got it.
Cindy's actually right there. You can list it on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or anything like that. You have to be careful though if it's handmade stuff. It has to be within your own area's food regulations. But if
that probably wouldn't fly here. I wouldn't even presume to do that. If I know that I have a friend who likes the stuff that I make, I might say, hey, we're getting close to that point. If you want some, let me know, because we aren't going to finish it. But I wouldn't donate it.
I think in the U.S.
it's allow us at all.
Yeah.
In the U.S., I think it's considered a cottage law. So check to see if you have a cottage law.
You might have that. We have that.
We can't even have raw milk. So
right.
Box stuff and jarred stuff that you've bought from the supermarket, though, that wouldn't be a problem to do that with.
Yeah, those would be okay.
Right.
Yeah. So the other thing is I wanted to talk about, we had prior to the holidays discussed doing a food bank. Here's what I got. What can I do with it? Are you guys up and ready for that? Or do we want to give it another week or two?
No.
We can do that.
You mean like planned meals with what we throw out there?
Planned meals from what you would get from the food bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we go to the food bank? I don't understand it.
We can
Voodoo?
call. You could call
Is-
a local food bank probably, or you know what I'm going to try and do is actually volunteer at a food bank and see what they're
See
giving.
what the food is.
So now
yeah.
we're giving our time, learning more about the community who's receiving that food, and I think that would be for me, it would be a very good social lesson, and it's something that I really want to do this year because I do understand that people go through hard times, but I want to understand on a different level. And I want to know what they're working with because maybe we can help educate them too on what they could do with it. If we're creative cooks and you're just always getting peanut butter and cheese or whatever that, whatever they're getting every week, they might run out of ideas. So I'd like to know what it is that they're getting and what can be done with it besides the basic ideas.
Yeah.
There are lists
Blue,
that
what
you
were
can
you
get
gonna say?
online for some food banks are run by bigger organizations and they have a list of the main things that they ask for. Not all of them have fresh fruit, vegetables, meats and stuff like that, or frozen up stuff because they don't have the room for it. So things like that can change from place to place, but the general list is pretty much the same no matter where you go. So if you just have a look online as well, just see what that general list is, and that's probably the better way of going about it if you don't have time to go to the food bank or whatever. But absolutely go and volunteer at the food bank because I tell you what, it'll open your eyes. But make sure that you've got Kleenex with you because it'll break your heart.
Yeah. I'm going to go down my local food banks, just tell them I just need to take a picture of what they would hand out to a typical family of 4. I don't need to be there to invade their privacy or nothing like that. So that's what I'm going to do. I do want to point out, Cindy had brought this up.
Oh, wow.
If you have baby formula that's getting close to date, you can email the manufacturers and many times they'll replace it for you because it's not going to do you any good when it's no longer good. So that would be wonderful. I don't know if they do that everywhere, but it's worth a try. Okay. The other thing she said too is that her local food banks give out recipe cards for the meals that they're handing out. So I think that's a great
amazing.
idea.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
There's a person over here called Jack Monroe who specializes in recipes from the food bank. I'm just trying to find her website because she's got a blog which is based on meals that are just for basically they've all come from the food banks. I'll see if I can just whack this into chat. This is her website. Most of these meals, they cost under £1 per head. So that's like around about $1.25 a head. And it's all stuff that you would normally get dry store stuff from food banks and stuff. So yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
And then in your communities, do they have like where you can add money to your grocery bill, and then they give out certain amount of bags? Because we have that here, where you can donate food to families, and then they give a certain bag of groceries out every week, like depending if it's a $15 bag or a $25 bag, and I've done that too, where I go and look at what's on the list and try and say, what would I do with that bag if that was the bag that I received?
Yeah. Right. The way it works over here is that you have to get a coupon and you have to be referred to the food bank for the most part. And that's done by, it could be done by your kid's school, it could be done by your doctor, it could be done by your local vicar, it could be done by anyone like that. You're not supposed to use it more than 3 times a year, but at the moment they're inundated and people don't have a choice and they don't have a choice. They don't usually have food vouchers over here because a lot of the supermarkets won't take them. So they have to just take the food if there's food there. There are some that have food vouchers, but again, it's depends on which one you go to, and what they have available. Some of them now have electric and gas vouchers as well. Depends again on where you are and what have you. Because my sister, for example, who lives up in Scotland, she has very severe health issues, and her son, who is 2, has very severe health issues. She's moved into her home on the, I'll tell you exactly when, because I've got the details of her, because for the first time ever, she rang me today in tears, asking if I could lend her some money. They moved in on the 22nd of November, and they've gone through £850 worth of electric in that time.
Wow.
And they're on a key meter, so it's pay as you go.
Wow.
So it's like, if you don't have the money in the meter, you don't have electric or gas. So yeah, and it's not like they're overusing, they're trying to keep it down as much as possible. But yeah, she's beside herself, doesn't know what to do. So yeah,
I've heard places in America, and this is just what I heard, is doing that pay as you go system in some areas.
well,
I don't know. Like, I've just heard it. I don't know where, but yeah,
it's more expensive.
Yeah.
They tend to use it in places like the council houses, so government housing. So they're getting hit with the highest rates of electric and gas just for living in that area. They're also swapping people who can't pay their bills onto those as well, because then they take a certain amount off each week that is to go towards their debt. But yeah, it's an awful system. It's absolutely vile.
Yeah.
Hers has been proven to be broken, and they won't replace the meter. Yet it's taking £20 off randomly a night, or every second night, or then it will take it off the next night. And there's no reason for it. It's just coming off. So yeah, they're fighting that at the moment. Yeah. Because their normal usage overnight would be like £6 because they've got storage heaters. So it's silly. It's weird and it's strange, but no one's doing anything about it. So yeah.
Does that include electricity, or is it separate?
Yeah, that's electric.
Something they could do is you can get an electric meter that you can actually plug in. When you're saying it's taking off at night,
you mean smart meter?
Well, you can get a meter that plugs into the outlet, and it'll tell you how much electricity. Like,
we've got those over here. They're called a smart meter, and they put them in your kitchen, and they actually, you can see it there. They will not give her one.
Wow. Okay.
They won't give her one.
I've been playing with solar, and a lot of people don't realize is most modern refrigerators have a self defrost, and you'll burn more electricity at night when it does the self defrost than it uses the whole day. So if it's not energy starved, people don't realize that, because I've seen where people are, you're trying to figure out how much battery power to have a refrigerator, and you check and you're like, it drained my whole battery last night. What happened? It's because these modern refrigerators, they do the self defrost and just suck a ton of power. So that, I'm just guessing, but that could actually be happening. And I don't know how you turn that off on a refrigerator, but it's possible the fridge is just nuts.
Hers is a secondhand one off Facebook.
So it could be. I don't
from
know.
About 5 or 6 years ago when someone was replacing theirs. So I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, I don't know. Right.
But she has had electricians and plumbers over in the last few weeks, and they've actually watched it do this, and they're like, we've got no idea what it's doing. It shouldn't be doing that. There's no reason for it. So
yeah, if she can get one of those meters, because at least you put it on the fridge and see, like, wait a minute, it sure did use a lot of electricity last night, and I don't know what you do about it, but when you're counting your watts, when you're paying by the watt, that part kills you.
The actual meter doesn't line up with the money that's being taken.
Okay. Yeah.
So this random money is just going, and it's not lining up with her usage. So yeah, they just don't know what to do with it at
That
the moment.
sucks.
But I am going to be doing
Oh,
a
that's
video
crazy.
shortly, which I'll explain about later on, later when we're not here, because otherwise we're talking over this. So yeah.
So we're at our hour. So what I want to do is I want to throw out one last chance. If anybody's got any questions about setting up a pantry, questions about organizing a pantry, or any information, now's your time to put it up there. I know for me specifically, if anybody disagrees, make sure you say it. But I'm sure all of us would be willing to answer emails if you want to send them regarding how to do a pantry, set it up, organize it. Do you have a form? Can you send me a direction or something like that? We'd be happy to do that. And I'm not an anal guy, so if you ask the question and somebody catches it, if I don't in chat, please ask and we'll try to answer it on the spot or send you in the right direction, because we're all about helping each other. So does anybody, I want to give each of you the opportunity, and I'll say your name specifically or your channel name. If you want to throw anything else you think that needs to be added, I missed, corrected, anything like that, we'll go ahead and start with Michelle. How about you?
Me? Why me?
Because you're right next to me, so I'm throwing you on under the bus. So
See, I'm not good at this. How do I do that? There we go. I'm going to poke you.
That way. Opposite of what you want to do.
I'm not left-handed, Tony. Okay. No, I mean, I really like it.
Neither am I.
I'm going to add that I like to prepare things like if I make spaghetti, I make a ton of it. Then I make a bunch of lasagna. And we have 2 refrigerators in our house. So I'm very fortunate. I'm very happy about that. So I take it from the lower refrigerator, and when we plan our meals, I move it up to the front refrigerator in the kitchen. So we rotate our food from the pantry, the freezer, and the downstairs fridge up to the front freezer and refrigerator as we move through the week or the month. So if you do pre-prepare things, like I just put up 5 lasagnas a few days ago, and we're not going to eat them all in a week, you know, but now I don't have to make any for a while. So, bringing your food and rotating it forward like that. And then I think it's also important if freezing food or something like that is important, don't think you're going to remember what's in that baggie, and don't think you're going to remember when you did it. To make sure that you have some method of labeling that, whatever it is, whatever your method is, make sure to label it, because that, just like throwing away a canned good, if you've gone through all the effort of preparing and freezing and putting up food, there's nothing worse than looking at it and saying, what's this mystery gravy? Is it soup or is it gravy?
Right.
So don't waste your time, and don't waste your energy, and don't waste your effort.
But it's exciting to find out what's in those mystery baggies.
No, it is not. Thank you.
Defrost it, and you're like, wow, it's a pork roast.
Yeah. Oh my God, really?
I've done that.
Here, I thought it was chili, and it's a pork roast.
All right, we had some mystery meat in the freezer. Like, I guess we just gotta defrost it and see what that was.
That's funny. So, Janet and Daniel, how about you guys? Did you have something to add?
Yeah, I think something we've kind of discovered going through these challenges is, if you can afford it financially, is don't try to purchase one meal at a time, right? We looked at that on the $15 challenge. It's cheaper to buy a bag of flour and make bread than it is to buy one loaf of bread at a time, right? So and it depends on your financial constraints, but as much as you can, think, hey, I'm going to buy a bag of flour. I'm going to learn how to make bread. I mean, we're at that point. You got to learn how to make stuff, or you're going to be overpaying for everything all the time. Then do bulk where you can. And I don't necessarily mean go to Sam's Club and buy a 3-pack of everything, because every time we go to Sam's Club, we spend way too much money and we end up just wasting stuff. It's more about, get the big bag of beans and learn how to make beans. Get the big bag of rice, learn how to make rice, stuff like that. Look for the deals, look for the coupons. Like we found, and it's not always the big bag. Like we found that it was cheaper to buy beans in the 1-pound bag at Aldi than it was to buy the 5-pound bag at Walmart. Right. So, I mean, gas is expensive and going to 3 different stores may not work, but just kind of be aware is it's not always just because it's a 5-pound bag, it's not always the best deal, but I think you gotta shop smart, you know.
It is cheaper here to buy a kilo
stuff.
bag of flour than it is to buy a 25 kilo bag of
flour. Right.
So I just go and get 10 bags of flour. And
it's clever marketing, actually. Very clever marketing. So look at those little barcodes and compare those prices. If you know, if you're buying in bulk, do that, because you could find yourself saving a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about you, Ginger?
I think probably the biggest thing I would say is there's so many people that they get overwhelmed just by the whole thought of it. Just don't buy anything. Go print Tony's list and go put down on there, even if you only fill out 5 boxes, just go print it out. Keep it, you know, put what you've got in there. You'll probably figure out that you have way more than you thought. When I first saw the list, when Tony printed it out, I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of feel inept because there's some things on here. I don't have this. I don't have this. I don't have this. And then, you know, I realized I can kind of mark that out because it doesn't apply to us. I can mark this out because it doesn't apply to us. But just print it out. And I see the Butler Family Farm, he said he's already printed it out. Just print it out and start marking stuff in it. You'd be surprised at how much you do have and how prepared you are, but then you know the areas you can work on it. But if you just look at the spreadsheet, you go, oh no, that I'm way behind it. Just print it out. Even if you draw a smiley face on it, just print it out.
Well, and I just seen that Jerry printed it out. So what I want people to know is when I set that up, it wasn't based on where it's all going to be on the right page, because everybody's printer has different settings and things like that. But you can go in and move things around so you can fix it. So manipulate that form so it fits your needs. That's the important part. So, Blue, what about you?
I would say, same as Ginger, don't buy anything yet. Do your research. Look at what your list is. Work out what it is that you actually use in your family. Don't go and buy something because it's on offer. Have a look, see what is out there first. If it's cheaper to get it delivered, get it delivered. It's not your petrol. You know, a lot of the stores that actually deliver, if you order over a certain amount and put in an order, they will not only like take 20% off or whatever, but then it's free delivery anyway. So
nice.
Do that. I do that. That's what I do all the time. I hate going to the supermarket. It is my nemesis. I hate it. So as much as I can get delivered, I get delivered. If you need to save up your pantry fund money for 3 months to get enough money together to get a bulk order from the place that you want to get it from, save it up for 3 months and get the bulk order then. You know, there's a place that I go to that I get their newsletter, and every week they put out a VIP item. And when they come up with the really good stuff, like the cashew nuts for 1 kilo that I get for free, if I spend £50, that's when I'll put my order in. And because the order is over £30, I get free delivery. So I've not only got something that's would have cost me 25 quid plus £15 delivery. I've just saved myself £40 by putting in the order right now. Plus they give you 10% in their 10% of your order in their company cash to put aside to save up. Now I save up those for Christmas or the end of the year shop, and then I use that money and that money that I've saved up, those 10% for down there. And if that means that I've got a tenner off over my whole year or whatever, or 20 quid or something, that's a lot of money. Over here it's a lot of money to go towards something like that. So that means I've got £20 free plus the stuff I wanted that would have cost me 25 quid, plus 20 quid free delivery. I've just saved 60 quid without even doing anything, you know. So do your research first. Find the companies that are worthwhile working with as well. And, you know, don't always think that the supermarket's going to be cheaper. You know, I get white vinegar enough for a year. 20 litres does us for the year for cleaning and cooking and all of that kind of stuff. I get it from the Asian supermarket. Costs me $8.
Oh, wow.
We go to our Asian supermarket a lot here. A lot.
See, the 5 litre container, because it comes in 4 5 litre containers, one of those at the supermarket is £15.
Right.
So what am I going to do that for when I can get it there for? So do your research. That's the biggest thing. Do your research. Yeah.
So Tony, Deb C wanted to see if she changed that, if it would mess. Oh, sorry, you're on it. Sorry, I'm not taking over the show. I promise.
No, you're fine. To answer the question, number one, there is no stupid question. Only the unasked question is the stupid question. So, what I recommend doing, Deb, and anybody else, including Joey, because he had the same concern, is save the document to your computer, change the name, and then go in and manipulate it however you want to, because then it's on your computer, saved as your name. The end result I don't want to have happen, because anybody I do give the link to, their changes are going to change your changes. So save it to your computer as a separate document. So that's what I would do.
And if you're not familiar with how to do that, email any of us and we could help you walk you through it.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right, guys. Earlier, well, I think that's
earlier. Joey actually pulled the document in on his phone, and he had to download Google Sheets, but he was able to pull it in on his phone, so he can save it to his phone. So if you don't have a computer and you're only working from your phone, do it that way and just download the app that you need that you can work in within the document.
Very valid point. It is a Google Sheets document. It's not an Excel spreadsheet, but they should intertwine theoretically the same.
Can also take
you could save it as a CSV and turn it in. Yeah. Yeah. No, we said the same thing, Blue.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
You just take it to your local library and they'll print it off for you if you've just got your phone.
That works too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you could save it as a CSV and then just turn it into an Excel spreadsheet, and you can do that.
Excel spreadsheet, you can do it that way. Yes. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, great information. Thank you for being here. I appreciate everybody in chat. Anybody that's modded, I appreciate you always. Thank you guys, panel, for being up here. I know you guys have things you got going on, so I appreciate it. Next week, it sounds like we're going to do a food bank menu is what we're going to do. So there's your homework. Next Sunday.
This is my jam, man. Okay. This is what I do.
That's your jam. Get on it. Get on it. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. We'll be here next week. Everybody's welcome to come back. Thank you, Joey. I appreciate that.
We said thank you, Joey. I appreciate that.
You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later.
Be safe, everybody.
Bye, guys. God bless.
Bye.